law or like a regulation whereby everyone is to put on protective clothing. But what's the perception of the workers in terms of this protective clothing? Are they all putting on that protective clothing? Does it have any effect? And also testing its effectiveness. Then also another objective is also how do people understand the risk of lung cancer in the field, both management and Inst and the workers. How do people perceive protective clothing? Talk about that. The relationship between the workers and the management. How is that relationship like? Is the management, from the workers' perspective, is the management providing enough in terms of its efforts to curb lung cancer? And also, from the management side, are the workers responding accordingly to this lung cancer? So we expect to get that from the guide, rather from the research. Then also the efforts of both the management and the workers in trying to curb lung cancer, as has been reflected on the research question. Then in practicing the research methods, as I said, we have in-depth interviews, we have focus groups, we have documents. So I think maybe I'll just highlight on in-depth interviews and focus groups. I said first we will use focus groups which will help us select the individuals whom we are going to work with in conducting in-depth interviews. So in focus groups, we'll be maybe basically asking questions like, for how long have you been working at this estate, so that we get the duration of maybe someone who began to work at Triangle to the estate in 1980, and this is 2018. That person can have maybe full information in terms of when protective clothing was introduced, when maybe first cases of lung cancer were recorded in the estate, and those people will then follow them up to do in-depth interviews, so that we get more information in terms of lung cancer and the efforts of both management and the workers. And we'll do the same with management, those focus groups, and we'll also, as I said, in-depth interviews, or will be maybe going deeper with issues we have raised in the focus groups. Then another also method that we'll be testing is participant observation, because you'll be at the estate, you'll be participating in all the activities. Try to see whether the uptake of protective clothing, the uptake of the efforts of the management, the efforts of the workers in trying to curb lung cancer is effective. I think that's one.
Any questions?
Honestly, I just want to comment on his clarity and also the combination of economic history and health. That
Beautiful. Yes. Well done.
So who's taking for masters? Who's taking that topic for masters?
It's a good topic.
Because you already
And you get to hang out in the States.
I thought, as the chairman, you already noted that the topic is already taken. Maybe it's going to be this in the next days.
Oh, okay. For PhD.
It's been state of life.
Oh,
Although
oh yes. Oh,
he's focusing on workers, but
the health side. Oh, alright.
Well done. And the last group of the day. Come on up.
So we've observed that fast food outlets in Zimbabwe are generally increasing or are trending, and we've observed that the GMOs are also becoming popular in the market, and we've observed that a lot of people nowadays we usually use cars, combis, they no longer walk long distances and probably have less time to do exercise. So, given these observations, the old issue is diabetes, which is on the rise in Zimbabwe currently, and diabetes mellitus is a metabolic disorder whereby the inadequate production of insulin to act upon sugars existing within the blood of the body. So it affects pancreas, our research, our site, we have chosen to do ethics comparatively, taking an urban setting and a rural setting, so that we can figure out the impact of lifestyle and diet on the rise of diabetes. So we have chosen Karanda Hospital and Chitungwiza Hospital, and also Chitungwiza Food Court. So research question is, why has fast food become trendy on the market? And this question has linked to the general observation that there is a relationship between lifestyle, which includes diet and exercise, and diabetes. And we also be linking it to income, because there's also an observation that the more well-off people become, the more they take up fast food.
And then we look at select appropriate methods. So the methods we chose, first of all, we will focus on the support and focus groups. These ones will be visiting the hospitals and the clinics on their clinic days for diabetes. So it is easier for us to identify our group of people who have diabetes. And then we also look at participant observation, whereby we're looking at the lifestyles of the people we are focusing on. Would they be people who are affluent, who have money and can afford luxuries such as transport? This will help us in knowing about the lifestyle changes. Is it affected by the exercises they do on a regular basis? We also look at in-depth interviews, which are semi-structured with the health personnel. Another area of focus is life history, to trace the genetic trends and changing lifestyles of the people. And then on design data collection, guys. So there are a number of questions we have to ask. Some of them were mentioned. Are there any family histories with diabetes? Their daily routines and their exercises determine whether they're active individuals or not, because there's a tendency that people who do not exercise are more prone to diabetes. We also look at their favorite meals. When we look at people, let's say, who are more affluent, they tend to go for fast foods. So we're looking at what are their favorite meals and the frequency of their uptake. And then we also look at hobbies. In as much as we're creating general questions which are not really too sensitive, we're trying to prompt whether the hobbies, are they willing to exercise or not? That's looking at their hobbies and where they live. We also look at occupation, which determines the level of income. And then, are they on any chronic disease treatment or medical history? And then we also look at their surgical reasons and reasons behind it. You can also take a look at whether they have had any surgical operations and what were they for, so that we may determine if they were caused by the trends of diabetes. We also have questions for the food courts. which are a bit sensitive, where we look at frequency. We ask about their frequency at these food courts, their preferences, and why they would choose fast foods, and whether they are aware of the health implications of too much uptake of fast foods. This would be it for us.
Question from the room?
Okay, the presentation was nice, I would say. My question is a bit too much of an assumption saying that the more affluent a person is or the more money a person makes, the more they lean towards fast food. What I would understand is the more affluent people that I at least know, the more they have money, the more they want to eat healthy so that they can live long and eat their money. So isn't it a bit of a stretch to base it on an assumption?
Well, it's an assumption that can be proven by the research, whether true or false.
We want to establish whether there is a relationship between lifestyle, income, and the generation of diabetes. So it would be, we're going in with the theory that we have created. Whether it will be proven right or wrong will be based on, that's why we have even same structured questions, because we want whether our focus will change in the process will be determined by our research as it goes.
There's also something to be said for the fact that it's very hard to find KFC in the rural area. So there is something to be said for people with money that they can use for it who actually consume it. So there are issues of associated class, income, and the kind of food that you buy, because here eating at KFC is more expensive than eating other things, right? So I think there are a lot of interesting tensions that are actual social trends and economic trends that could be studied. And it would be interesting to see what is the cutoff of income, for example, over which people will eat lettuce all day and go to the gym, and under which people will eat KFC and just be happy that they can drive the car and don't have to walk in the rain. So I think it would give us an interesting snapshot of society. One last question.
Okay, I don't know, but wouldn't it be of a challenge when you say you go to food courts and ask the frequency of how someone goes there? Does these food courts have a system where someone logs in or what? Because if I remember myself, I don't have a specific, maybe to say chicken slice that I go to. If I want chicken slice, I think of what chicken slice is close to, and just go there. So doesn't it provide a challenge to study the frequency of someone going to a...
Okay, so let's say we ask you about your favorite news, and after that we ask you, like maybe you give us a favorite meal, maybe chicken and chips. We're going to ask you maybe how frequently do you take it during a week or during a day, something like that. Not necessarily, not necessarily that it has to be chicken in or KFC.
Thank you very much. I see at least 4 PhDs in this room. Okay. So, thank you everyone. This has been a very interesting experience, at least for me. I hope that for you too. We're gonna be at it. So, we got requests from the audience yesterday when we were talking about female condom. So we're gonna take a little academic break to learn something new. And Caroline has a demonstration for us. So we're gonna have a brief demonstration to wrap up our conversation about female condoms. And then we're gonna watch a documentary and talk about it to sum up these 2 days of workshop. Caroline, thank you. The floor is yours.
Two
We all have some condoms. Look at them. No. Normally the condoms, you can keep the ones you got. Yeah, we'll use this one for the most where is the hearing time? Okay. Identify on the condom the part where you are supposed to tear it. That's very important. When you look at the tearing part, you also want to look at the expiry date. These ones were manufactured 2016 and expired 2021. Do you see that? What's the problem with an expired condom? You may not, the lubricant may then have, dry. Oh. Okay, they're coming. Again, it's important for you to look for the part that tears. The advantage with the female condom is you can look at these things while you are still sober and yourself. Unlike the male condom, where you have to wait for an erection. No, with the male condom, when you have waited for an erection, and now it's in the heat of the moment, and maybe it's even in the dark, for you to be looking for the expiry date and the place which tears easily, that may not be easy. So if you plan on using a condom, familiarize yourself with the condom while you are still yourself. Why am I saying while you are still yourself? Huh? Because you what? On your statement, say it aloud. Why am I saying? Because you want to okay, because if you wait for the time when you need it, there may be so much agency that maybe even Tongol Bata could be fumbling because now concentration is elsewhere. Cameraman is amused. So you want to familiarize yourself with the condom. However, you don't tear it and open it in advance, just in case the sex doesn't happen. We've wasted a condom by opening it. Okay? So you want to be prepared. So if you are going to a party or wherever, have it. But familiarize with the condom first. To say you know that the condom has a part which tears. Have you all identified that on the female condom? Yes. And the ones that we have, they actually expire in 2021. So you know you are safe. Okay? So you can carry it in your bag or in your whatever. Don't carry the condom, especially the male condom, for 5 days in your pocket. It's not to be exposed to heat for a long time. Whether it's in this pocket that's on the thigh or the back pocket or on the window sill, you don't want to keep it there for too long. You just want it to have it in on you on the day that you know you might have sex. Okay? So when you have familiarized yourself with the, why am I giving you this it's for you to plan for sex, right? I know it's very spontaneous, but there are things you can plan for in advance. Okay? Now, the advantage of the female condom is, like I said yesterday, you don't have to wait for an erection, right? Well in advance, not 2 days before, right? Some hours before. How many hours? Who knows how many hours before it can be inserted? For as long as 8 hours. Okay? Right. This one. This is a polythene. Not latex. Okay. This is a polyurethane. Okay. This material is very good in that once inserted, it takes on the temperature of the body. 1. 2. What we have to have very clearly is someone who does not like barrier methods like condoms is still not going to particularly like the female condom. But at least the advantage is it makes the woman in charge of the activity. Unlike some complaints that were coming through about the male condom, that you put it on and then, when it's on, halfway through you see, what happened? You don't know and you are not in charge. Okay? So you see that it's got 2 rings, an outer ring which is fixed to the condom and an inner ring which is loose. Okay? If you are not very familiar, you can open up yours and familiarize with it. Right? So what you do is the inner ring is used for insertion. You squeeze it and make like a figure of 8 with it, the inner one. And then you go, either you put your foot on the bed or on the chair or in some position where you can access your genitalia, right? You can access your vagina. It can also be used for anal sex. But for anal sex, I'll tell you how to insert it. Now we are discussing for vaginal sex. Okay? Right. So you position yourself, your foot, so that you can access. Okay? That's when you are inserting it yourself. Or you can have your partner insert it for you. But if you are inserting it in advance before the partner is there, you can still do it yourself. Remember, it was mainly to have women become in charge, right? Especially those who have not been in a good position to negotiate, during the act. So you insert, and then you use the outside, because you have already touched the inside of your vagina while you are putting in. Because the advantage is to provide a barrier, so that you are not going to now say this finger, which was inserting, which was actually in contact with the vaginal fluid, is the finger you will use to further this. You don't want the fluids in there. Okay? Which is why at times you need the cooperation of your partner, if you want. Right? And like I said yesterday, you don't want to leave a big piece hanging outside. Because if you leave a big piece hanging outside, during sex play, this is the piece that's going to be making the sound that you don't want. Okay? So when you insert it, make sure it sits right inside. It has to sit, covering the cervix. If it's not sitting properly, it's going to be uncomfortable during sex. Right? Like I was saying, during sex, who shall we call this one? Signor. As Peter goes in, like I said yesterday, when Peter goes to hit that inner ring, okay, that provides a lot of excitation on the most sensitive part, the head of the penis, okay? So that is one of the good things about the inner ring and leaving it in. If it's too painful, you can leave it outside. And the other thing is, with the female condom, once it goes in, it actually takes the temperature of the body. Okay? For those people that have complaints about the male condom, saying, it's like, it's getting sweet in the paper. You don't feel the heat. It's like a chidamish. So actually feel the heat. Okay? So, like I said, you don't have to wait until the erection is subsided. subsided for you to finish, or you can sleep inside or whatever. You don't have to come out immediately, right? Unlike the male condom, if the erection subsides, the male condom could remain inside. There is adequate lubrication, and the lubrication that's used here, there are very few people that would react to this, and yet with the latex, a certain percentage of any population reacts to latex. Whether latex is used as gloves in the hospital, as latex, there are some reactions to that, but with the female condom, there are no reactions. Okay, so after sex, Peter comes out, and you roll this one so that you don't spill the contents. Because now there are some contents. Because Peter was squirting inside there. I don't have this syringe too. Why am I using my finger to? What shall we call this one? What's your name? Vachihera, right? So we are saying Vachihera is in a position. People have said this is too big. What's the argument? The real Chihera is not a rigid structure like this. The real Chihera has elasticity. So it's going into a structure that stretches and contracts, stretches and contracts. Okay? Because remember, Chihera has to stretch and let out a human being, and then still goes back to pre-pregnant state and pre-delivery state, such that Peter can still enjoy. So this is not too big, because Vachihera constricts. Okay? Right? Yeah. So you are in whatever position you are, you've made a figure of 8, you are pushing in through with the inner ring, and you push using outside, don't go in. Okay? You push until the outer ring is resting outside like that, covering the outside area. And when someone has an STI,